Welcome to the HCL ISD Executive Podcast. HCL is a $5.2 billion leading global IT services company with 62,000 employees across the globe. The company has 20 global delivery centers. HCL focuses on transformational outsourcing and offers integrated portfolio of services including software-led IT solutions, remote infrastructure management, engineering, R&D services, and business process outsourcing. The company's infrastructure services division, HCL ISD, which is marked for its world-class infrastructure management services, is committed to provide optimized, flexible, centralized, standardized, and business-aligned IT. HCL ISD's key service offerings include end-user computing, data center services, mainframe services, integrated operations management service, cross-functional services, security, and network services. By winning the _1 slot in two categories, ITO and Remote Infrastructure Management, in the Datamonitor Brown-Wilson Group Survey 2009-2010, HCL ISD has again proved its leadership in the global infrastructure services industry. To give more insights, we have with us Mr. Doug Brown, Managing Partner of the Brown-Wilson Group, a Datamonitor research company, and Mr. Scott Wilson, co-author The Black Book of Outsourcing and co-founder of the Brown-Wilson Group. First of all, congratulations on the release of the Datamonitor Brown-Wilson Survey 2009-2010. I want to take this opportunity to ask you about the evolving IT infrastructure management industry. What are the key trends that you see in the industry?
Infrastructure management outsourcing is an emerging trend in an otherwise mature infrastructure outsourcing market. Infrastructure management outsourcing can be an enabler of this asset-light approach for IT transformation, presenting a viable alternative to traditional I/O models. Beyond monitoring web services and networks remotely for customers over the last 5 or 6 years, there's been little traction in outsourcing infrastructure management to Indian providers in the past. Those deals generally went to U.S.-based providers. That's changing. As buyers' trust levels of Indian expertise increases, now they see advantages to moving to remote management of infrastructure, including entire data centers to Indian providers. Today, few Indian companies have jumped on board for this work without a partner. Buying the facilities, rebadging employees, and running the whole operations is a capital-intensive play that not many Indian companies have ventured into yet. But that is happening. An Indian provider may not be able to acquire a customer's data center on its own, but it can accomplish the value proposition jointly with a U.S. or European partner. After seeing Indian IT companies' success in RIM outsourcing, providers from China, Philippines, Brazil, Eastern Europe, etc. are trying to enter the market. Thus far, they've been unable to match the Indian-based outsourced vendors in their service offerings. Remote infrastructure management outsourcing for increasing levels of adoption faces several key challenges. First, unlike BPO or ITO, disruptions caused by remote outsourcing are huge for companies. Issues caused in BPO and ITO will affect relatively few business processes and applications. But any failure in server, storage, network, etc. will cause the entire company to a grinding halt. So remote infrastructure management outsourcing, vendors must respond to any infrastructure failure in real time. For the customer's point of view, this is still a huge risk for the business continuity, and they are not comfortable to send these types of mission-critical services to offshore locations. Second, for companies planning, designing, and implementing infrastructure outsourcing, it's a huge task, and it may take months, sometimes even years. Companies need to change their entire IT infrastructure architecture, troubleshooting, security, support, policies, which can take significant capital investment. Unlike ITO and BPO projects, companies are hesitant to take the initiative to outsource their infrastructure services. Third, managing IT infrastructure remotely is a daunting task for the outsourcing vendors. They need skilled professionals with deep technical expertise and business acumen to solve the problems 24/7. Finding qualified people, even in low-cost countries, is getting difficult for the offshore vendor and slows the growth of remote outsourcing significantly. And last, customers expect stringent service-level agreements for infrastructure outsourcing and require 24/7 real-time technical support from the vendors. This requires significant upfront capital investment from the vendors, making cost of entry very high, and challenges are posed for new vendors wishing to enter this new market.
Where does HCL stand in the survey?
Well, we're glad to announce that HCL has made it again. This is the company that dominates the ITO and remote infrastructure management categories in a big way. The company has won the top slot in ITO categories and is in position number one in both applications monitoring capabilities and data center management services. HCL is also among the top 3 providers in desktop management services. Most importantly, HCL is number 1 in remote infrastructure management outsourcing services provider in our survey. So HCL tops all the charts.
What makes HCL stand out in the ITO and remote infrastructure management categories?
HCL is number 1 provider in the remote services and IT categories because it deserves this position. In our survey, we found that the company has robust innovation capabilities, strong client relationships and cultural fit, trust, integration and interfaces, scalability, client adaptability, flexible pricing, reliability, data security, and backup services, support, and customer care. Best of breed and process improvement are some of HCL traits that customers can bank on. Other things that make HCL stand out as an ITO player are its breadth of offerings, client types, training, delivery excellence, deployment and outsourcing implementation, customization, scalability, client adaptability, flexible pricing, compensation and employee performance, reliability, brand image and marketing communications, viability, data security, and backup services, support, and customer care. I would say a company is great if it has great offerings for its customer base and if it understands what its customers want. And HCL has scored competitively on both customer satisfaction and successful engagement.
Tell us about the assessment methodology.
We utilize a 3-step process to collect candid performance data. First, Blackbook collects a series of direct evaluations covering 26 performance areas on leadership and senior management. Second, the research team collects valid results on 18 performance areas of operational excellence to rank vendors by outsourced service lines. Third, the gathered data is subjected immediately to an internal and external audit to verify completeness and accuracy, and to make sure the respondent is valid while ensuring the anonymity of the client company is maintained. During the audit, each data is reviewed by Brown Wilson executive and at least 2 other people. The 18 criteria on operational excellence are subdivided by the client's industry, market size, geography, and function outsourced and reported accordingly. Last, situational studies are conducted on areas of high interest, such as green outsourcers, educational providers in outsourcing, outsourcing benchmarkers, and boutique advisors. These specific survey areas range from 4 to 20 questions or criteria each.
What message would you want to give to the listeners of this podcast?
For career aspirants, I would say this is a company to work for. For companies that are looking for outsourcing partners, I would say you can rely upon HCL for your IT infrastructure management needs. For the existing customers and employees, I would say you are working with or for the right company.
Thank you, Mr. Brown and Mr. Wilson, for sharing such interesting insights.